Hi, my name is Chloe Music. This is a presentation titled An MPA and Beyond, How Public Administration Has Influenced My Professional Life. This presentation was created to fulfill a requirement for my MPA portfolio in order to graduate. Enjoy. I was very fortunate to be able to intern at Stewart's Opera House not once but twice, first as a development and fundraising intern, the second as a marketing and community relations intern. My internship helped fulfill multiple competencies of my portfolio and my MPA degree, but the two that stand out are leading and managing in public governance and participating in and contributing to the policy process. First, I was able to lead and manage specifically in the nonprofit sector through developing different programs at Stewart's, and I'm specifically going to talk about the community dinners. The Nelsonville community dinners have been happening in Nelsonville for about a year, and Stewart's has the capacity to hold larger dinners with our dishware and our spaces. So it was an incredible opportunity to be able to host a couple of these dinners, and actually some of the community members who came to these free and open dinners actually attended another free event when the Columbus Symphony Orchestra came to Stewart's Opera House, and they said they wouldn't have otherwise attended that event if they had not been invited to Stewart's through the free and open community dinners. So these have been opportunities for me to shine as a leader at Stewart's and within the Nelsonville community and ultimately make an impact in community development. The next element is participating and contributing to the policy process. Again, at Stewart's, I was able to go to the Americans for the Arts Action Summit in Washington, D.C., and actually talk to Ohio congresspeople about maintaining and increasing the funding for the National Endowment for the Arts. This was an opportunity for me to take the skills I've learned in my MPA education to be an advocate and to interact with the policy process and actually apply it to a real policy process in Washington, D.C. The next competency is to analyze, synthesize, think critically, solve problems, and make decisions. Again, many things in the MPA program taught me how to master this particular competency, but I'm choosing to talk about a book review that I wrote for my public-private partnerships course, in which I reviewed Empowering the Public-Private Partnership, The Future of America's Local Government by Senator George Voinovich. In this review, I was able to analyze and synthesize a couple different pieces of literature discussing public-private partnerships and different perspectives on partnering in the public sector. Then, after the synthesis of these three articles and book, I was able to make my own decision about how I felt about partnering in the public sector. The next competency is to communicate and interact with a diverse and changing workforce and citizenry. In my organizational leadership course, I was able to write a paper assessing Senator Voinovich's leadership style. Specifically, he was able to utilize catalytic leadership in the creation of the OITF, a public-private partnership, to revive the city of Cleveland. In this particular instance, he was able to assess skills to see how they could be used to step into their specific leadership roles and ultimately enhance this partnership for the city. Now, using Senator Voinovich's experience, I'm able to think about it as I move forward in my professional life. Additionally, I was fortunate to travel to Cuba on a comparative health trip. This was helpful for me to engage with a different cultural community and see how they apply different types of healthcare systems and perspectives to their public sector. Another competency is articulating a public service perspective. I chose to pick a piece of my portfolio titled Effective Use of Social Media, which covers the social media and the Planned Parenthood / Susan G. Komen for the Cure controversy case study by Laura Winnig. This particular case study covers how Planned Parenthood successfully used social media to convey their public value and ultimately influence the political environment and the support of Planned Parenthood. So as a future public administrator, I plan to use this particular case study and similar stories to guide me when I am using my own skills to create and communicate public value. Now, upon reviewing how each competency has been incorporated into my MPA education, there are a few consistent themes and values that come to the forefront. First is nonprofit management. Now, in my internship at Stewart's Opera House, like I said, I did two. One can see how I'm absolutely focused in nonprofit management. I was at Stewart's for over a year, and I plan to continue to work in the nonprofit sector. Next is leadership. I have found opportunities to step into leadership roles, whether it's at Stewart's Opera House or in my MPA education, specifically among my peers or in group members or group projects. I can think specifically to a project that I did for my nonprofit management course with Dr. Mahoney, in which we had to create our own nonprofit organization. And in this particular group, I was able to step forward as a leader and help guide, with my peers, of course, this group to its ultimate success. Lastly, and this has been a theme that's been present throughout my life, not just in the MPA program, the theme is advocacy. I personally feel like it's my responsibility to be an advocate and to be a voice for people who may not feel comfortable or have the tools or skills to voice their own perspectives or needs. Specifically, as a student and a resident of Appalachia, I have found that it's very important to voice my perspective as someone from Appalachia. And I've specifically been a voice in education efforts, and more recently, arts education efforts, specifically with Stewart's Opera House. Lastly, my understanding of public service, shaped by the MPA program, has and will continue to influence my professional life and my movement into the professional world. The first element of public service that has particularly stuck out to me is the creation of public value, and specifically using the framework of the strategic triangle to create public value and to frame public value. So the strategic triangle connects operational capacity, political management, and the creation of substantive value to ultimately create public value. I like this framework, and I plan to continue to embrace this framework as I move forward. The next thing that has shaped my understanding of public service is to understand and embrace diversity. As I've previously mentioned, I'm a student of Appalachia, I'm a resident of Appalachia, and I've recognized that sometimes it's difficult to see diversity on the surface. But the MPA program has helped me to understand how diversity sometimes requires a leader to dig a little deeper. Someone who exemplifies this particular perspective is Senator Voinovich. He's shown us through example time and time again that he values individuals, and he values learning about each individual and what makes them tick and what makes them different. And I hope that I too, and I plan to embrace a similar perspective and take opportunities to listen to my peers and to listen to the people that I intend to create public value for, and understand their needs and listen to their needs. The last element that has helped shape my understanding of public service and I plan to implement in the professional world is to create opportunities for organizations to excel by identifying new ideas, markets, and shortcomings. I think one of my particular strengths is creativity, and I've learned how to make the most of a situation with minimal resources. Again, I come from a very impoverished community in Vinton County, Ohio, and I have lived a life in which I personally have not had the most resources to make the most of a situation. So I have a lot of intimate experience with adopting creative strategies to be the best individual I can be. And this has proven to be an asset for me in the professional world as a public servant because resources are not always abundant. So I think in creating public value, in practicing public service in the professional world, I will absolutely create opportunities for organizations through new ideas, identifying new markets, and ultimately identifying their shortcomings.